Good evening, everyone. Uh, I'm very happy to be with all of you this evening as well. And we will see what we can, inspiration and understanding we can draw from each other in this next session that we come across. I want to start uh, with a story. We all know Ramakrishna Paramahansa. And then Ramakrishna Paramahansa, as a little boy, was a very different energy, meaning as a small child, he wasn't an ordinary child, always special. But it was very difficult for his mother to accept because in the school she tried to put him and then he ran away and then everybody would make fun of him. And then she was in distress in a sense, why is it like that? So she actually consulted a lot of doctors, teachers, and then other people just to understand how can she make him a little normal child. And but nothing was working in a sense, like we know Ramakrishna Paramahansa as Ramakrishna Paramahansa, but if you put yourself into her shoes, it was a great distress that she went through a lot of time. And in many things she tried, but nothing could give her any solace or any sort of a comfort to her heart. Why is it that my child is just not as the other children? And after trying every possible thing, after going through every possible option, and nothing actually brought her any solace, she realized this is not going to work this way. And that one night she decided, in her completely broken heart space, she went and sat in a temple in front of Ma Kali and says, I'm not going to move from here till you tell me, why have you made my son like this? I'm not going to move right from here. I'll tell you one more story, and this you know, but again, just to, I see Xenia in a very different way. This is a story, this is Buddha's story. Buddha, before we know him as Buddha, was just Gautama, a prince who had never known any suffering or any pain. Not forget about experiencing, he had not even seen anyone who was in pain or suffering for that matter. So as we know, the first time when he ventured outside the city walls, he experienced not only old age and then the suffering of the old age and death. And then he was perplexed, aghast to understand that this is everyone's reality. And in that moment, he realized, if this is going to be my reality, I want none of it. And he went through many teachers to give me something which is tangible, give me something which is lasting. But no teacher could give him anything. He met many friends who were practicing intense austerity. He tried that. No austerity could give him anything that he was lasting to. And finally, he, in that sense of desperation, these people can't give me anything, no teacher can give me anything, but I have to find it. And with that sense of determination, one night he sat. He decided, I'm not going to move from here. I'm going to sit here till I understand what this whole thing is about. What is this truth? What is this puzzle that I'm not able to solve? And both these stories have a very beautiful ending. Gautama, who became Buddha that morning, as we know, Buddha Purnima, as it is celebrated. Ramakrishna Paramahansa's mother in the morning had a vision of Ma Kali, and then she said, your son isn't an ordinary being. He had a very, very special mission. You just have patience and you shall see. Let the drama unfold. That's the first time something touched her heart, and since then she was at peace. See, both these energies, and they did a lot of austerity, but there was a precursor to that austerity, which is a lot of churning that they go through to come to the point where the only option remains is to sit and touch the complete essence of it. the churning, or as we call as a suffering, is a sort of an essentiality as a first step before we can allow ourselves to be self-disciplined, or what we call as tapasya. There was another saint who was also an Ayurveda acharya from Gujarat, Jagjivan Bapu. So many, he was very popular. So many people would go with their ailments, like, when the normal medicine cannot fix their problems, they would go to Bapu and say, Bapu, please fix me. And then Bapu, of course, was able to address their ailments and fix them. But in the later ages, Bapu got very distressed, and he, to another friend of his, is like, why would I treat these people anymore? So this other friend of his is like, why, Bapu, why are you saying it like that? It's like, I treat them today, they go tomorrow healed, and then do the same thing again, coming just back again and again. And this is, I think, the point we all can take also. This entire series is about healing. Why do we require healing? Or why do anyone requires healing? Because something within us is actually in pain, isn't it? We're suffering. There's something inside us is crying. And we want we want that to be healed. We want, like, just so that we can become better functional. But same thing as Bapu was talking about, same thing as the stories tell, why is it that we cry? Why is it that there is suffering? Every suffering underneath is pointing to something that we carry, which actually can be looked at. As a healing, every wound in time, your experience will also say, yes, that was a very difficult phase of my life. But in time, that thing goes away and I become normal. And then we forget about it. In the time of Sant Tukaram, is another saint from Maharashtra, there was a great famine that Maharashtra went through. So everybody would go and then look for solutions. And then in that, everybody suffered a lot. Not only suffered a lot, but in that there is a lot of good qualities within people also came out. They found out a way to work with each other. They found out a way to conserve food. They found out a way to prepare themselves better. But inevitably, what happened? In time, the famine ended, rain started, things became back to so-called normal, and all the wisdom which was acquired through that period of trial, was lost. So Tukaram warned people, used to give satsang, just like we talk and share and remind each other. So he said, see, we just came out of a famine and now we have started behaving as if nothing has happened. And this is a point of reflection for each one of us. You see, like, we do, of course, we want to be healed, because otherwise we won't be functional. If I have a pain in my foot, I won't be able to walk. I need to fix it. But is it enough? There is more we can do, isn't it? I can find out why on earth I got hurt. Can I avoid that the next time? And you will see, like, every time when we suffer or every time when we are in pain, it is actually pointing to a certain thing inside ourselves, which is a root cause of that pain. It's a root cause of that suffering. And the wisdom, or the more important thing for us as yogis to look at, is not just a temporary healing or a solution which will just free me from my current experience, but so that it does not recur. Master has said this thing, we use this word also many times, circumstances are neutral. How many times we feel, no, this circumstance is absolutely not neutral. It is a terrible circumstance, isn't it? But yet Master says even that is neutral. What does that actually mean? It says, if I find it not neutral, if I find it so terrible, why? What inside me is resisting that circumstance? And when we start looking at it like that, it takes us, oh, but I expected this way and then things are this way. Why did I expect it this way? Oh, because it used to be working like that last time when I did it. It worked very fine, and now I'm trying it this way, it is not working out. You see, like when we think like that, when we just look and reflect and contemplate, we understand that we're looking at something. This is my experience. But is it the only experience? Can some other person have different experiences? So yeah, sure, why not? Can you yourself have a different experience in the same circumstance? Yes, it is possible. Then this kind of looking has a potential to help us to the seed of what we are holding, the seed of ignorance, we may say. And that, if we have touched, then the actual practice of austerity or self-discipline can begin. This morning, I was fortunate enough to be able to go to the monastery. Today they planted Triveni, which is the three trees they plant together as a very auspicious way to beginning of a project, for example, which is the Bargad, the banyan tree, the peepal tree, and the neem tree, representing three aspects of the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And these three actually grow together as in a very, very special way. And we did plant them. Will they grow? Will they grow to the complete fruition? It depends on what? It depends on how good care that we take care of it. Yesterday and this morning, the place was nicely prepared. What did it involve? To make sure that there's no weed left over. You see, you have seen weed, how easily they grow. You don't have to water so that a weed grows into particular land. They can even survive like a harsh summers and all those things, and they will still sprout. It takes time and patience and a lot of care for a Triveni to become a big Vriksha. Maybe many years. But for weeds, you have to make no effort. Our existence, our habitual existence is like weed. Not in a bad way, I'm saying. Weeds are also very... But if we don't pay attention, our existence will be like the weed, and through that many thorny bushes will come. We will keep stepping on them. We will be in pain, suffering. We'll say, oh, remove that particular one because I stepped on that. When we understand that these weeds are not helping my existence at all, then we become more aware. And then we can choose very consciously to just water what is relevant. This is a step-by-step process, you see. So I think whenever there is some kind of an experience of pain or suffering that we go through, it is a very important and a great opportunity for us to look at where does the seed of it lie. And even if we're able to identify it, after that, the practice of austerity begins. I am not going to water it. I am not going to water it anymore. I'm going to water something which is actually helpful, which is actually going to lead me to where I wish to go. Though the weeds is familiar, though it has always been with me, I choose something different. I choose to look at something different. It's an unknown territory at times. It seems an difficult terrain or a completely uncharted terrain, but that's the terrain which, as a yogi, we venture to walk in. And the moment the wisdom is understood that a part is not helping me, this walk becomes inevitable, and in some ways there's a great acceptance that we come inside. So I invite everyone to just reflect on it. Let's all, we have to heal us, we have to heal others. But also that's why when we pray, we also ask for what? We ask that the light shines inside, because that the light is going to show us, I'm harboring this ignorance. And in the moment I'll drop that seed, I'm healed not only by the current ailment, but I stopped any potential that can come in future also. So with that thought, just take a moment and again or anyone that you know of personally or within yourself, if you're aware of any situation, any particular tendency which is not helping, yet at times it finds very difficult to control, just offer it. And again, as a means to invite all beings be encompassed in that light so that they can see anything which is limiting each one of them, so that they can take their next step. Let's offer a prayer. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and in all souls. Oh. 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everyone.